in which case my trip halfway around the world would have been in vain. The first day, I wanted to make sure she was the right person. The second, I meant to speak with her, but lost my nerve. Tomorrow I would fly home to America. This was my last chance. Finally, she appeared from around the corner of a pharmacy, umbrella tucked smartly under one arm. She made her way across the square with surprising speed for a woman who was about 90. She was not stooped. Her back was straight and tall. Her white hair was pulled into a loose knot atop her head, but pieces had broken free and fanned out wildly, framing her face. In contrast to my own staid clothing, she wore a brightly colored skirt, its pattern vibrant. The shiny fabric seemed to dance around her ankles by its own accord as she walked, and I could almost hear its rustling sound. Her routine was familiar, the same as the previous 2 days when I watched her walk to the Café Novorolski and request the table farthest from the square, sheltered from the activity and noise by the deep arched entranceway of the building. Last time I had come to Kraków, I was still searching. Now I knew who she was and where to find her. The only thing to do was to summon my courage and go down. The woman took a seat at her usual table in the corner, opened a newspaper. She had no idea that we were about to meet, or even that I was alive. From the distance came a rumble of thunder. Drops began to fall then, splattering the cobblestones like dark tears. I had to hurry. If the outdoor cafe closed and the woman left, everything I came for would be gone. I heard the voices of my children telling me that it was too dangerous to travel so far alone at my age, that there was no reason, nothing more to be learned here. I should just leave and go home. It would matter to no one. Except to me. And to her. I heard her voice in my mind as I imagined it to be, reminding me what it was that I had come for. Steeling myself, I picked up the flowers and walked from the room. Outside, I started across the square. Then I stopped again. Doubts reverberated through my brain. Why had I come all of this way? What was I looking for? Doggedly, I pressed onward, not feeling the large drops that splattered my clothes and hair. I reached the cafe, wound through the tables of patrons who were paying their checks and preparing to leave as the rain fell heavier. As I neared the table, the woman with the white hair lifted her gaze from the newspaper. Her eyes widened. Up close now, I can see her face. I can see everything. I stand motionless, struck frozen. The woman I see before me is not the one I expected at all.
1. Sadie. Kraków, Poland, March 1942. Everything changed the day they came for the children. I was supposed to have been in the attic crawl space of the 3-story building we shared with a dozen other families in the ghetto. Mama helped me hide there each morning before she set out to join the factory work detail, leaving me with a fresh bucket as a toilet and a stern admonishment not to leave. But I grew cold and restless alone in the tiny, frigid space where I couldn't run or move or even stand straight. The minutes stretched silently, broken only by a scratching. Unseen children, years younger than me, stowed on the other side of the wall. They were kept separate from one another, without space to run and play. They sent each other messages by tapping and scratching, though, like a kind of improvised Morse code. Sometimes, in my boredom, I joined in too.
"Freedom is where you find it,"
my father often said when I complained. Papa had a way of seeing the world exactly as he wanted.
"The greatest prison is in our mind."
It was easy for him to say. Though the manual ghetto labor was a far cry from his professional work as an accountant before the war, at least he was out and